me tell you something, Nate. The Olympics are coming up pretty soon. They're creeping along, Nate, and we're gonna have a busy time with those Olympics. But we got some break early news for the Olympics. So sprinter 100-meter champion Christian Coleman is going to be missing these Olympics despite a reduced ban. So let me explain the ban a little bit, Nate, okay? So originally, Christian Coleman, he was banned 2 years after he failed to take a non-notice drug test. He didn't fail the drug test. Once you like miss 3 drug tests, they end up suspending you. So basically what happened was he was suspended for 2 years because he missed 3 drug tests and they were non-noticed. And so he ended up going to the courts to try to appeal it to see if he can go play in these Olympics. But instead of like canceling the ban altogether, they reduced it from 2 years to 18 months. And the 2 years started in 2019 of October. And so if that were to continue, then it would have gone to 2021 of October, which would have been too late for the Summer Olympics. Even now, it's too late for the Summer Olympics, Nate, because it goes from 2 years to 18 months. A little bit about Coleman. He ran a 9.76 second run to win the 2019 world title, and it was the fastest in the world in the past 5 years, and 0.05 quicker than Usain Bolt when he won a 3rd straight Olympic gold in 2016. However, you already know, Nate, Usain Bolt holds the world record for the event, having ran 9.58 at 2009 Worlds in Berlin. Okay,
right,
because that man is just a speed demon. Okay, you could ticket him if you ran down the road, but we're not talking about him. Yeah, Coleman has never tested positive, but he broke the anti-doping rules by missing 3 non-notice attempts to take samples from him in a 1-year period. The panel of 3 judges said 18 months, and I quote, was the appropriate sanction in the concussions because Coleman was not entirely at fault for one of the missed tests. And then Coleman actually made a statement as well. He said, and I quote, while I appreciate that the arbitrators correctly found that I am a clean athlete, I am obviously disappointed that I will miss the Olympic Games this summer. And yeah, in a statement, the court said it was reasonable for an athlete to expect a phone call from a sample collection official to return to his apartment during the 60-minute period. He said he would be available on December 2019. However, the court also said, and I quote, should have been on high alert on that day given the 2 existing whereabout failures against him. So you know what, Nate, let me start off with this first because this is very confusing. But before I start, I just want to say the source for this was ESPN's Associated Press. Look, this is a very tough situation, Nate, you know? The Olympic rules are very strict. Very strict. You know, if you get caught with doping, some people are out for life. You know, Russia has always had problems with it. Whether it was gymnastics, I think they had a problem with it. I'm not sure if swimming did. Gymnastics was the last one I heard of. And so Russia ended up going through suspensions and bans and all that type of stuff. This right here, I'll say this. I think this suspension is way too long. Okay? Like we talk about, we all make mistakes, you know, we all can learn from our mistakes and become better people from it. Here's the problem though. Christian Coleman, he never got tested positive, which means coming from what I just said right there, he never got tested positive. He was never on drugs. You know what I'm saying? But because he missed the 3 tests due to a non-notice, because he missed one of the tests due to a non-notice, he didn't get a notice from it. That's what I think is really messed up. You go from 2 years to 18 months, which isn't really even it's not even really that big of a decrease, you know? 6 more months. Yeah, 6 more months, and that's 2 years. Personally, I think you could have. I would have had it go from maybe two years to probably I feel like 12 or 15 months would have been cool, you know. But these 18 months, like I just feel like this suspension is just a little too long. You know, he was clean. He never did drugs. I just think the suspension was way too long. And I understand how serious the Olympics are when it comes to drugs, but like, let's be real. Okay, I just think this is way too long of a suspension, but I do understand it because these are the Olympic rules, you know? And they said they treat all these rules and everybody equally with these rules, you know? So I understand it, you know? If you were lenient towards Christian Coleman, you would have to be lenient towards the next guy, you know? And they think it's okay to miss these types of stuff, but it's not. And it's not like Christian was ducking. Like they said, they don't believe or they don't have any suspicion that Christian Coleman was ducking the drug test. They say most likely he was probably willing to take them, and he just didn't get the notification to take them. So, or he didn't get the telephone call, like I read. So honestly, Nate, I just think the suspension is a little too big for somebody who just never even did drugs. But you know what? I mean, I'm glad it did get decreased a little bit. I'm glad that it's not a full 2-year ban. Even despite the reduced ban, by the time the ban is up, it will be 3 months later after the Olympics end, so it doesn't matter anyway. He's going to be missing these Olympics, and most likely he won't be able to compete in the Olympics for 4 more years. Which brings me to another example, Nate. The Olympics, every single Olympics, not like from Winter Olympics to Winter Olympics or Summer Olympics to Summer Olympics. This is common math, okay? They happen once every 4 years, okay? 4 years is a lot on your age. It's a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think, when did you say Bolt start? I want to say 04. I want to say 2000 or 2004, and he ended up competing until 2016. Okay, you have to take advantage of every single Olympic opportunity that you get, and the fact that he's not going to be able to compete for another 4 years in those Olympics is disappointing because personally, right now, I'm gonna look it up just to see how old Christian Coleman is. Let me just look that up real quick. Christian Coleman. All right, okay, so he's 25 years old, which that's a plus sign on him. You know, he's relatively young. 4 years come and be 29 years old. He'll still be in good shape to run. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that he has age on him. But the suspension, Nate, in my opinion, I just think it's a little too long. But I understand why they gave it to him because of the rules. So with that being said, you know, I wish Christian Coleman the best of luck. Hopefully he learns from this tiny mistake and ends up being more aware and high alert of the test that he needs to take. And so with that being said, I wish him the best of luck. And before I pass on to you, Nate, the next event that he will be in is in, I believe it said it somewhere. Hang on a second, let me just find it. This is important. The next event he will be in is, I just read it. Where is it? All right, here, okay. He will be cleared to compete in the 2022 season, which includes the World Championships in Eugene, Oregon. So that is the next time Christian Coleman will be officially able to compete and sprint.
Yeah, you know, basically you covered everything. I don't like how long it is, honestly. Personally, if he got caught for drugs, then banning him for 2 years, that's a different story. Because like you said, once every 4 years, that's when the event happens. But you know, obviously obviously the rules are the rules. If you miss the test, you know, you get banned. But you miss the test, you get banned. But personally, if you miss a test, I don't think it should be as long as it is if you actually got caught for it. You know what I mean? Like, that could just be me talking because, you know, I look at it from a different sport. Like, you know, if you were to do that in football, you would probably like a 4-game suspension, and then you actually get caught with the drugs, you like a year suspension or whatever. But like, personally, that's how I think it should go. I don't think it should be equal because, like, he, you know, like you said, you know, he wasn't on drugs. He just missed the test. He never got, even worse, he never got a notification. At that point, that's on you. That's on the league. You should have sent him that day notification if he didn't get it. So you know what I mean. I personally think if you miss a test, like, you should be suspended. Obviously, that's, you know, you got to do that. But you shouldn't be suspended for that long. I mean, come on now, that's just ridiculous. But if he actually got caught, I would understand why the 2 years were put in place if he got caught. But it's just him missing a test. I don't think it should be that long. That's me personally. I don't know how you think of it, but that's
right. Right. Well, just like a reminder. So the first two, like, he just like failed to take. Like, he didn't like fail the test, but he just didn't take them for whatever reason.
Okay.
It wasn't like he was ducking or whatever. He just didn't. And these tests go on within a year. The third test, he didn't get that notification. So
yeah, that's on the league.
They talked about that he didn't get it. So they're saying, like, look, at that point, because of the first two, because you missed the first two, and because you were like aware of it, you should have been on high alert for that third one. You know?
Yeah.
So that's basically what they're going with.
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing, but if they didn't send a notification, that's on the league. You know, you gotta do that. If you really need a player to come in and do that test, which I know in sports that's required, you have to do that. You gotta send them out, and you gotta send out those notices and be like, yo, you gotta be in at this date. So third time, you know, that's on the league. But that's me personally. I mean, you guys can have a different opinion. That's fine, but it is a pretty confusing situation, and I'm glad that they did reduce it. Although, you know, there's 24 months and 2 years, and they only reduced it by 6 months. So he's still a year and a half in on the suspension. So it's going to be a while before he gets back in the Olympics. Like you said, once in every 4 years. I think the next Summer Olympics is going to be 2025, right? Or is it still going to be 2024?
That's tough, Nate. I don't know.
Yeah, because I know it was supposed to be last year, but then the pandemic happened. But they said something about this year's one. They never said anything about it before, but I don't know. I'll have to look into that.
If anybody watching knows, please list it down in the comments when the next Olympics will be.
Yeah, please. Yeah, please. I actually haven't heard anything. I know only thing I've heard is that the next Summer Olympics is going to be in France, and the 2028 Olympics is going to be in Los Angeles. That's the only thing I've heard about the next two, but that's really about it.
Right.
Excuse me. So with that being said, best of luck to him in the future. Best of luck to everybody. Best of luck to everybody competing in the Olympics. I hope you learn this lesson from this. Do what you gotta do. You gotta set your priorities straight. But with that being said, best of luck to everybody competing in the Olympics.